This is the Tamobyke TB20 electric bike, and my first thought is that it's built like a compact moped with pedals. The stance is low and muscular. The 20x4 fat tires fill out the frame, and the spec sheet reads like a high-power commuter that moonlights off-road. Key features jump off the page. A 1500-watt motor that reportedly peaks around 2000 watts, a 48-volt 25-amp-hour battery, claim top speed of about 35 miles per hour, dual suspension, Shimano 7-speed, app support, and safety certifications for the electrical system and water resistance. On paper, it's the kind of setup that promises big torque for hills, real throttle riding without feeling sluggish, and enough battery to keep you out longer than most e-bikes in this price bracket. In my opinion, the power-to-size ratio is the headline. A 1500-watt rated hub motor on 20-inch tires gives you that instant pull that riders expect from a moped-style e-bike. Hub motors like this deliver torque directly to the rear wheel without needing to shift gears. So when you twist the throttle or bump up pedal assist, the bike should surge forward in a way that feels confident at city speeds and still capable on loose terrain. The 35 miles per hour figure is fast territory for any bicycle platform, so the rest of the hardware matters a lot. That's where the dual suspension and disc brakes come in. The suspension setup helps keep the tires in contact with the ground, which improves stability on potholes or gravel. And the discs deliver the braking force you need to slow down a heavy bike at higher speeds. I've seen some listings in owner notes mention dual hydraulic brakes on the TB20. If braking feel is critical for you, I'd confirm whether the unit you're eyeing uses hydraulic calipers or mechanical ones, because that changes lever feel and heat management when stopping from 30+ miles per hour. From my experience with similar high-power e-bikes, the battery capacity here is substantial. At 48 volts and 25 amp hours, you're looking at roughly 1200 watt-hours of energy. Real-world range depends on speed, terrain, wind, rider weight, and how much you use the throttle versus pedal assist. If you cruise mostly on throttle at 25 to 30 miles per hour, consumption often lands around 25 to 35 watt-hours per mile, which points to something like 30 to 45 miles for many riders on mixed terrain. If you keep speeds lower and use low to mid PAS levels, I've seen comparable bikes do somewhere in the 45 to 70 mile ballpark, sometimes more on flat paths at lower speeds. The up to 124 miles claim sounds like a best-case PAS scenario at very low speeds with a light rider on flat ground and no wind. It's not impossible under lap-style conditions, but I wouldn't plan daily routes around it. In my opinion, this battery is great for short to medium range with headroom for a detour or two. But if you consistently ride fast or climb a lot, think of it as strong capacity that still drains quickly when you unleash the motor's power. The riding modes are straightforward. You get throttle for no pedal cruising, PAS, where the motor helps while you pedal, and a manual mode if you want to ride it like a heavy conventional bike. PAS is helpful for new riders because it blends pedal feel with steady assistance. PAS levels are basically power presets. Low levels sit battery and help you cruise. High levels add more power and speed, but burn energy faster. The Shimano 7-speed drivetrain is there to dial in cadence and comfort. On this kind of motor, the gears complement the assist rather than define your speed. You'll use them to keep your legs spinning naturally, while the motor does the heavy lifting. Comfort-wise, the TB20's fat tires and suspension soak up a lot of chatter. Fat tires use a big air volume to act like an extra cushion, which is a simple, effective way to handle bumps and sand or snow. The saddle is described as ergonomic and designed for longer rides. Geometry is where I'd advise a quick reality check. The handlebar height and reach on moped-style frames are often more fixed than on classic mountain bikes. If you're taller, you may find yourself reaching a bit more than you'd like. I've seen owners mention that the handlebar setup doesn't offer much adjustability and that taller riders feel stretched, especially if they extend the seat for proper leg position. If you're above average height, try setting one up to check reach and posture before ordering if you can. A couple of centimeters can be the difference between relaxed cruising and a nagging shoulder. Weight is another real factor. The listing pegs it at about 119 pounds, and that's hefty. It helps stability when you're moving, but it's tough if you need to lift it upstairs, put it on a rack, or pivot it in tight hallways. If your routine involves elevators or frequent transport in a car, plan for the logistics. I'd recommend this for riders who can park at ground level or roll it into a garage or storage room without carrying it. Big motor plus big battery equals big mass, and that's the trade-off for performance. It's perfect for folks who want throttle authority and don't mind the weight, when the ride's done. On the tech and safety side, the color display is easy to glance at for speed, battery, and trip data, and the companion app lets you tweak settings and track rides. The safety certifications matter here. UL certification is about electrical safety standards, and the IP rating means the bike is designed to handle rain without exposing sensitive parts. Waterproof doesn't mean submerge-proof. It's about weather resistance. After wet rides, dry the contacts, especially around the battery and charging port, and store the bike in a ventilated spot to help moisture evaporate. The BMS, or Battery Management System, protects the pack from overcharging, overheating, and short circuits. In plain terms, it's the guardian that helps your battery last longer and stay safe. Charge with the included charger. Avoid covering the battery or charger during charging, and let the pack rest after aggressive rides before plugging in if it feels hot. Now to reliability, which is a big topic for high-power e-bikes. I've seen multiple owner reports online describing intermittent power loss under vibration, sudden cutouts on bumps, and controller overheating during heavy climbs. Some shared error codes tied to communication issues and motor phase faults, which often point to controller stress or wiring problems. I can't verify every report, and not every unit will show these issues, but the pattern is worth noting if you plan to ride hard on rough terrain. Vibration, heat, and high current are tough on controllers. If you live in a hot area, or you're planning steep hill repeats with frequent throttle use, it might be smart to let the bike cool during longer stops and periodically check connectors for tightness. If your unit comes with hydraulic brakes and you do a lot of high-speed riding, that also helps with safety margins because hydraulic systems generally handle heat and modulation better than mechanical setups. Assembly is listed as 85% complete out of the box, which usually means front wheel, handlebar, and some accessories need to be installed and torqued to spec. If you're new to e-bikes, pay attention to axle seating, brake rotor and caliper alignment, and tire pressure. Fat tires often feel best in the teens or low 20s PSI range depending on your weight and terrain. Lower PSI gives more traction and comfort, but can feel squirmy on pavement. Higher PSI rolls faster but transmits more bumps. For braking, make a few gentle stops to bed the pads into the rotors. That gives you stronger, quieter braking afterward. Check that the derailleur shifts cleanly across all 7 gears. A quarter turn on the barrel adjuster can clear up minor indexing if it hesitates. On speed and laws, a 35 miles per hour e-bike sits beyond standard Class 3 rules in many places. That usually means it's for private property or needs to be treated like a moped, including helmets, lights, and possibly registration, depending on local regulations. I'm not your legal advisor, but it's worth a quick look at your local rules so you're covered. At these speeds and weights, I'd wear a sturdy helmet and gloves at a minimum. If you plan night rides, upgrade the headlight and add a bright rear light with a steady mode plus a pulsing mode for visibility. Where this bike shines is straightforward. It's perfect for riders who want a strong throttle, fast acceleration off the line, and the ability to hold speed on hills instead of bogging down. It's great for short to mid-length commutes where you want to arrive without sweat, and for mixed surfaces like packed dirt, gravel pads, or post-rain potholes. The suspension and fat tires make rough streets feel less punishing, and the big battery means you can take a detour without sweating the ride home. In my opinion, the strength of the TB20 is the confident, moped-like feel and the grin factor when you roll on the power. There are trade-offs. The weight limits portability and makes stairs a hassle. Realistic range at higher speeds isn't going to match the highest marketing number. Tall riders may want to double-check fit, and based on owner feedback I've reviewed, reliability of the controller and electrical connections under vibration can be a concern, especially if you ride hard and hot. I'd recommend this for someone who prioritizes power and stability, has easy roll-in storage, is comfortable keeping speeds in check where required, and is willing to do routine checks on connectors and brakes. If your use case is daily multi-floor carrying, ultra-long-range rides at low assist, or you're very tall and picky about posture, consider a test fit or look at frames with more adjustable cockpits. In conclusion, the Tamobyke TB20 aims squarely at high-power fun with real commuter utility. The motor and battery combo deliver what most riders want from this style: speed, torque, and confidence across uneven streets and light trails. The safety certifications, BMS, and app support add peace of mind and convenience. Just set your range expectations based on how fast you ride. Be mindful of the weight in your daily routine, and if you're pushing it hard off pavement, Keep an eye on heat and connections. That approach will help you get what this platform does best, while avoiding the frustrations that some owners have reported. To learn more about the Tamobyke TB20 electric bike, please check the comments section. Thank you for watching.